Hello and welcome to this week's look at action and stunts on film and television. How are you? Welcome back for another week. If you've heard the podcast on Wednesday, you know that we are looking at 1980s Cannonball Run. It's a Hal Needham adventure with a cast that at the time floored anything. I mean, it's a really impressive cast, not only having Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise and Farrah Fawcett, but you've also got Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr., and it's pretty special. Bobby Bass is in charge of the action, and you also have a man on the picture called Jackie Chan, who kind of changed the face of cinema after his appearance in this picture. This is the first time he's seen in the Western world, I believe, in a Hollywood picture anyway. Golden Harvest were partly responsible for the producing of the picture, and his inclusion was part of the deal. A smart move, I think it is safe to say. So we're going to take a look at some of the action here. There is a point during this where you will see a stunt double for Burt Reynolds, but you'll also see that stunt double in around all of the other cast members. Burt really didn't like the picture. He wasn't terribly keen on the whole thing, and probably did it as a favour for Hal, which is fair enough, but his contract made it pretty clear that he was only going to do as little as he needed to do. I think it turned out to be 2 weeks, there or thereabouts. So you will see, and I do point out, although I didn't name him at the time, but I'm going to do it now, it's Bobby Sargent. So it was Burt's stunt double from Smokey and the Bandit 2, Bobby Sargent. And you will spot him with the Reynolds tash and the jacket on, but you'll also see him there, and he will be surrounded by Roger Moore and Dean Martin and all the other cast will be around him, but he's there in place of Burt, as Burt just wanted to do enough to get him by. So park that for a bit and have a look at some of the moments, and we'll regroup on the other side. Here we go. So, 1980s, the Cannonball Run. What a cast. Even though Burt really didn't like the movie very much, and as we will see, he's not in a great deal. He's in plenty of scenes, but he's not in some of those scenes where some of the other actors are in the scenes. But he gets back with Hal Needham after the success of Smokey and the Bandit to create a little something else. And it's really well done. Jackie Chan, of course, with Raymond Chow. The first time that we see him in a Western picture. And that was the start, you know, from there on. He was continually involved and very popular over here. As, of course, was Farrah Fawcett, but look, he's on the front of the picture poster for the Asian market, and a great deal to show for it too. Some wonderful stuff. Hal, of course, gets himself in as the guy in the back of the ambulance, and a lovely cast photo of everybody involved in this particular fight. Watch the way in which Jackie moves here. It's all about timing, but he's slowing down. These are many, many slowed down movements. Normally, the big guy's coming in left, right, and centre, and they're still going one-on-one. I must warn you, I'm Roger Moore. Who? Roger Moore. Oof. Oh dear. Poor old Rog. In goes Captain Chaos, out comes the villain through the window, and the wall, and the other window, and the other wall, chucking them out left, right, and centre. Great character, this. Dom DeLuise, marvellous. And the roof comes down. I mean, it's real. It's great playful stuff. Some fabulous punches here as well. Dean Martin in the thick of it as well. Oh, received the back of that. That's Alan Graff, if anybody didn't realise. Bang, he gets knocked about again a bit later. Oh, and gets taken down to the floor. And while Sammy's on the phone to the Greek, in the background, it's all going off. Alan Graff, once again. Oh, getting a smack. Oh, dear. Right across the shins. I love this guy's expression. Oh, dear Jack Elam. Fabulous. This part always reminded me of Gator. That fight at the end with it. Wait a minute. Hit me this side. Oh, okay. And he picks up the spanner. And clocks him one. Fabulous. Little backhanders. This is a lovely moment as well. There's a guy jumps across the motorcycle and then he catches the other one now. Oof! Woof! Lovely. The road's open. Oh, lovely. And he smacks him with a left. Oh, Dean, I tell you. Peter Fonda. Bang, 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 bang. That was a miss, by the way. That was way off. And again, Alan in the thick of it, taking lots. But these are great moves, but they are slowed down. If this was in the Hong Kong style over there. Oh, and the comedic split my trousers moment. Oh, I'll just wander off. This is a lovely gag as well. He's come in at a funny angle to hit this ramp. Up and into the water. Stump people around the pool, in the pool. But it seems like a very odd, again, an odd angle to come in at it from. So the bonnet's gone up, the hood, but there will be a section of it. There's holes in it, and you may not be able to see it from there, but there are holes in it, and consequently, as it moves along, he's able to see what's going on, able to... it's only the slightest little hole, but there's enough momentum there, he can see what's going on, and then he's got to come in at a really odd angle, and then hit this ramp that's been placed there, covered by this brolly in the foreground, but you can still see it with all the stuff all over it, and... get a couple of stunt guys in the water and goes to land it right in the middle of the pool. If you're going to hide from the police, underwater seems like an appropriate spot. Leading on from this, then bang, the window goes out and the room, of course, full of stunt people. And the guy gets thrown over the top of his pedestal. There's Farah again. Now, this is the Roger Moore sequence. This is the moment where Heidi, who was the stunt woman, gets sadly paralysed in this. The car itself was a pub. I mean, it was just in terrible condition. There was no seat belts in the vehicle. The tyres were bald. It was absolutely shocking. The sequence itself plays out where she hits the smoke. And then she hits the oil. This is the actress. This is not the stunt woman. But Bobby's in charge. Bobby Bass in charge. He said it would be okay. The police car spins out of the way. Roger's very pleased with himself. And then, of course, it becomes apparent that the smoke is filling up the car. They can't really see where they're going. And have to drive into oncoming traffic. This is where the problem happened. They're driving and it hit a vehicle. Nobody can see where they're going. It's the edit here, you don't see it, but that's where the accident happened. Jimmy Nickerson doing the driving for Roger Moore. And that's Heidi, who sadly is no longer with us. She died a number of years ago. But... the vehicle has to drive into that oncoming traffic, and as with any of those gags, it would be worked out in advance with the toy cars. You're going here, you've got to go this side, I'm going to go this way, you stay put, don't move, I'll move. And sadly, there was an impact, and she was propelled onto the windscreen of the vehicle and broke her neck, and was paralysed for 30 years. Now, here's interesting. That is not Burt Reynolds. That is Burt Reynolds, and then everybody else is stunt doubles. So they split it round. I think he only worked like 14 days on the picture. So they tried to get as much of his stuff done as physically possible. Still stunt people down there. There a couple of actresses knocking about. That's not Farrah Fawcett there. Jeannie Epper in the background. And then you do then cut to the shot of everybody on the ground. That's the actors. And again, this some of the playbills that are going about, which are good to see, but it's clear that he wasn't there for a great period of time. He was only there for, I think, about 14 days. I think that's how long it was. So they had the doubles in, and you don't really spot it. That's him. That's the double as well. It's very interesting to see a lot of these still photographs, because you spot it then. You don't spot it in that picture when it's going about, but it is quite interesting to say. And all of these incredible moments from these are rehearsal shots by the looks of things. Roger's jacket's off, and this remarkable motorcycle that wheelies its way right the way through the picture. The flying car, of course, although similar to the vehicle from Hooper, as it was fired across the canyon, and the Jeep jump, but we don't have access to all of that footage. But if you haven't seen it, go and see it. Get it out, download it. It's well worth it. So there we go. That is Cannonball Run from 1980. We can tick that off the list of movies that we intend to look at. We're not that far away from Christmas, and when the Christmas episode turns up, I will take a little break over the Christmas period and regroup in January of 2025. 2025, of course, 25 past 8. If you are in 24-hour clock, just bear that one in mind. So, yes, that's what I'm going to do. The Christmas movie this year. Can you guess what I'm going to be doing? No, it's not that. No, I know. I appreciate that I've had many inquiries for Dude, Where's My Car? But it's not that. No. Christmas movie this year is going to be Die Hard. It's Die Hard. Do you know why? Because it's a Christmas movie. And why not? It's a very sensible thing to do. So we're going to have a look at Die Hard to finish the year off, and then we'll come back in January with more of the same. I think there's 2 weeks to go, so you'll have 2 more episodes. I'm not going to tell you what the next one is, but look forward to Die Hard for the last episode of the year. Thank you very much indeed for all of your comments this year. Oh, if you haven't checked, I've got another podcast, by the way. I don't know whether you wanted to check that out if you're a James Bond fan. It's called Bond Buzz. Find it where you find your podcasts. It's myself and Bonita Drake from the Light Till Dark Film Festival, the festival I was at in Sweden. She's a producer and a director and a writer and a Bond fan, more importantly. So we talk about Bond, and we try and put the world to rights. It's not one of those ones where you have to do your top 10 rankings and all that. We don't do that. We're talking about Bond and the stuff that you find on social media and in the newspapers. So if that's something that you think you have a fancy of going, why not check it out? And if you've enjoyed this video and you haven't seen any more, well, go and subscribe. The button's down there. We must bear thanks to the Pod Dojo network. They're responsible for the podcast. And, well, until next week, that's about the size of it. Bye for now.